starting with the online platform Heat and Mass Transfer Laboratory, HT Lab. And today experiment we are going to explain about parallel and counterflow heat exchanger. Today's objective is to find out effectiveness of the heat exchanger. Here we have two setup with us. One is parallel flow, one more is counterflow. Before going to that, I want to explain you guys that what is a heat exchanger, what is the classification of heat exchanger, and also where we are going to use the heat exchangers, and also what is our objective, how we are going to conduct the experiment. This is our motto today. This is what we are going to do today. Basically, what is heat exchanger? You might have heard many times, even in your heat and mass transfer subject also you have studied. What is heat transfer? Basically, heat transfer is reducing the temperature of one fluid from one fluid to the transferring the temperature from one fluid to the other fluid. So thereby the temperature reduces and heat transfer takes place. So this is the concept of heat exchange. The equipment used is called heat exchanger. What is this heat exchanger does? Basically, there will be it may be a direct contact type or indirect contact type. There may be the fluids may be in direct contact, or it may not in contact, but still it is separated by a solid wall. Basically, heat exchanger exchanges the heat from a hot fluid to the cold fluid. Hot fluid to the cold fluid. Example, your car radiator. See, car radiator, what does it do? It is an example of a heat exchanger. What does the radiator does? It takes the heat from the engine block. It takes the heat from the engine block, and this heated liquid is again circulated back to the radiator pipes. There the heat is lost. Again the cool liquid again goes back to the engine block, again carries the heat and rejects the heat in the radiator. And you have a fan, so that fan will blow the air against the radiator, thereby reducing the temperature. So like this, even your refrigerator is a heat exchanger, even your AC is a heat exchanger, even chillers, the one which is used in the factories, maybe especially food processing factories, there that is a heat exchanger. Like this, even in our bikes nowadays, the bikes is coming with fitted with a radiator, so that is also a heat exchanger. Like this, many examples you can give for a heat exchanger. It's a very important equipment to transfer heat from one fluid to the other fluid. This is about the introduction of the heat exchanger. See, there are many types of heat exchanger what you come across. That's a classification of heat exchanger. That is first type is based on the flow. That is cross flow heat exchanger, parallel flow heat exchanger, and one more is counter flow heat exchanger. Next type is the based on mechanism. Second type is based on mechanism of heat transfer. That is whether it is a condenser or a evaporator. Condenser or a evaporator. Next is based on the construction, based on the design of the heat exchanger equipment. That is whether it's shell and tube type or tubular heat exchanger or plate type or extended surface type heat exchanger. Like this, many designs are there. So based on design classification. Next is based on phase change. What are different phase changes? That is liquid to liquid heat exchanger or gas to gas heat exchanger, or a combination of these two, liquid and gas type of heat exchanger. So these are the main classifications of heat exchanger. Today our focus area is to do the experiment on that is first type, parallel and counter flow heat exchanger. Parallel and counter flow heat exchanger. Please come here. This is our setup today. You can see this is a simple setup of a parallel and counter flow heat exchanger. Here fittings, the blue color painted fittings denotes cold line or a cold water line, and the red color painted fittings denotes the hot water flow line. See here, to make the equipment very simple, we have designed such a way that the hot water flow is in the same direction. Example, this is the direction of hot water flow. So counter flow means the cold water will flow in the opposite direction. This is the hot water flow direction. This is the cold water flow direction. If it is parallel means both the hot water and the cold water will flow in the same direction. See, you can see here, this is in this setup we have both things. That is counter flow as well as parallel flow heat exchanger. So here we have a thermocouples, 4 thermocouples, T1, T2, T3 and one more T4. Temperature 1, temperature 2, temperature 3 and temperature 4. In depending on which type of heat exchanger, this temperature 3 may be indicated as temperature 4 and this may be indicated as temperature 3, that is T3. T1, T2, T3, T4. Sometimes in counterflow it is exchanged, that is this will become T4, this will become T3. So this is the setup. Back side of this we have a heater, electrical heater, from where the hot water comes, and this is the electrical heater. You have a 0.5 kilowatt electrical heater we have. From there the hot water flows from the inlet and it goes with the exit. So this is the exit pipe of hot water where it flows outside. The water is wasted out, means the water is thrown back once the heat exchanger is happening. Now you can change the cold water setting. See, just to press this knob and just open. See, this is the water is coming here. So if you press it out, what it means? Press it, and also the water is going from this. The incoming water is coming from here and passing over here and again flowing over here and coming back from this direction, coming back from this direction. That is, the incoming water is coming here and the outgoing water is here. See, you can see this pipe. If I open this pipe, see, this is connected to this equipment, this line. This is the output line of the cold water. So what it means? The water is coming from here means what it means? The water is coming from here means what it means? So the water should have come from here. So the hot water direction is also same. The cold water direction is also same. And how about the construction of this? See, you can just see that it is a circular pipe, concentric circular pipe. You have a copper pipe inside the hot water where hot water is flowing, over which you have a GI pipe. That is 1.25 inch GI pipe and 0.8 38 mm copper pipe. So both the pipes are in concentric in nature. That is, the cold water will be flowing over the hot water pipe. The cold water line or a cold water pipe will be outside. The hot water pipe will be inside. The hot water pipe is smaller, the cold water pipe is larger. So it is in a concentric, one inside the other. So the innermost pipe carries hot water, the outermost pipe carries cold water. This is what the arrangement of counter and parallel. If you change this direction of this pipe, instead of water coming from this side, if you connect to this, the water it will become a parallel flow heat exchanger, counter flow heat exchanger. Got this? So I'll just later we'll change for one more experiment. This is what the experimental setup is all about. Now we'll come to the point how we are going to conduct the experiment. See, here it's a very simple, the readings are very simple. First, I'll start from the first. So now first, this is the parallel and counter flow heat exchanger. First, switch on the console. After switching on the console, you will get a message if PC is not connected. Panel, you will get a PC is not connected. Press cancel button from the panel. Now I am going to press the cancel button as per the instruction. So I initially told that both lines you should connect. One is hot water line and one more is cold water line. It has to be connected to the respective tap. Now the water flow rate, hot water flow rate is 2.29. This is LPM, liters per minute. Okay. So now if you want to increase this LPM, go near the tap, increase the water flow rate. If you want to reduce, go near the tap, reduce the water flow rate. Now press enter to set. This is enough for me, so I am pressing enter to set. It is showing cold water flow rate, that is 3.34 LPM. See, usually you keep the hot water flow rate minimal and cold water flow rate little bit higher than what you can, so that the more heat exchange takes place. Or to reduce the wastage of water, you can keep it still much lesser than this, maybe 1 and 2 LPM or vice versa. Just conduct with the different batches, conduct with the different experiments. That is, cold water flow rate is 3.34 LPM. Okay. Switch on the heater and press enter to continue. And now I will switch on the heater. This is the heater, so that the hot water starts, so that the water going to the geyser gets heated up and starts flowing from the pipes, respective pipes. So now we have a switch on the heater and press the heater to continue. So I have switched, already I have switched on the heater. Now I am pressing continue, enter to continue. Now it is showing some message here. You have since see, you can see the rise in temperature of T1 and T2. Now you can see the temperature rise. There is a T1, there is an increase in temperature. This is a T2 is the outgoing temperature. T1 is the inlet temperature of hot water. T2 is the outlet temperature of hot water. Here you have a T4. T4 has the inlet temperature of cold water, and T3 is the outlet temperature of cold water. This is the hot water and cold water LPM it is showing. What is the flow rate it is showing? You can see here there is a parallel flow what we have selected. So you can see the direction of hot water. The inner pipe represents the hot water. The outer pipe represents the cold water. Here you can see a temperature of hot water. It is around 52 degrees centigrade. And also again while going it is at around 42 degrees centigrade. And even cold water also, it's coming in at 29 degrees centigrade and going out at 33 degree centigrade. So this is a setup of your heat exchanger. This is a schematic diagram of heat exchanger and representation of temperatures. And you have a temperature versus length. This is the length of a heat exchanger. How the temperature is varying across the length. So you have one is cold water, one is hot water. Hot water is losing its temperature, whereas cold water is gaining the temperature. And also here you can see the effectiveness of heat exchanger. It is calculated here. One is practical effectiveness, one is theoretical effectiveness, and what is the error between these two. And you have a LMTD, what is the mean logarithmic mean temperature difference, and you have a Q, what is the net heat transfer rate, or you can see here. And what is the heat carried away by hot water and cold water is also automatically calculated in this software. But manually we will do the small calculation over here. This is the graph representing the temperature variation across parallel flow and counter flow. This is a parallel flow setup. As I told initially, the hot water and the cold water will flow, fluent will flow in the same direction. The cold water is coming from this direction and hot water is also coming from this direction. What is happening to the temperature here? The hot water is losing the temperature. This is the temperature scale along the length. This is the length and this is the temperature scale. So the cold, as the hot water flows through the length, what happens? The hot fluid is losing the temperature, whereas the cold fluid, as it moves along the length from inlet to outlet, it is gaining the temperature. Similarly here also, in counter flow also, see, this is the hot water direction is same. As I told initially, hot water direction is same, but the cold water is coming from this side. The hot water is going from this side and cold water is going from this side. This is the concentric pipe. This is the side view of the concentric pipe, side sectional view of the concentric pipe. So you can see the arrow marks here. What is happening? Again, this is the inlet and this is the outlet. What is happening? The hot water is losing the temperature, whereas the cold water is gaining the temperature. This is from lower temperature to a higher temperature. This is from higher temperature to lower temperature as it passes. This is the inlet and this is the outlet. And outlet for cold water, inlet for cold water. So this is the entire setup. Now we'll go for calculation. This is the observation what you are going to do today. There is a flow direction, whether it is you are going for with a parallel flow or you are going with a counter flow heat exchanger, that you can write it down here and take the temperatures. T1, T2 will always remain same. This is the inlet. T1 is the inlet hot water temperature, T2 is the outlet hot water temperature, and T3 and T4 just exchanges depending on what type of heat exchanger it is. So in parallel flow, T3 is the inlet temperature of cold water, T4 is outlet temperature of cold water. If you are taking counter flow, it's just vice versa. Next, LPM of water. As we said, seen in the experiment, it is 2.29. You have 3.34 for cold water, and hot water 2.29 LPM, liters per minute. This is a temperature description given in the manual already. You can go through it. What is T1? Hot water inlet temperature. T2 hot water outlet temperature. T3, as I told initially, T3 and T4 just exchanges depending on whether it is counter flow or parallel flow. So this is a calculation, friends. Q you are going supposed to find out. That is net amount, how much heat transfer takes place. That is Q is equal to QH plus QC divided by 2 watts. That is a heat transfer. How much units of watts of heat transfer is taking place. How are we going to find out QH individually? MCP delta T. MCP delta T. MCP delta T is a common heat transfer equation, but here if you are applying for hot water, that is represented by QH, that is MH into CPH into T1 minus T2, or difference, T1 difference T2. What is this MH? Mass flow rate of hot water, that is LPM divided by 60 will give in kg per second. Again into CPH, that is specific heat of hot water. From the table, you have to take a table from T1 plus T2, you have to take the heat transfer data handbook and find out what is CPH for hot water at this particular temperature. That is T1 plus T2 divided by 2. Some temperature you will going to get, from my guess it's around 45 something. For 45 degrees centigrade, page number 32, thermodynamic data handbook, you can go with what is the CPH or CP value for water, hot water. So that you are going to write down here into temperature you already know, that you are going to find out. Similarly QH, same thing you should do it for QC, MC, CPC into difference of T3 difference T4. MCP delta T, that is MC into CPC, that is, this is for cold water. So now we got QH, QC. QH, QC. What is MC and CPC? Again it's the same. Mass flow rate of cold water. CPC is specific heat of cold water. It is given here. T3 plus T4 divided by 2. From thermodynamic data handbook, you are going to find out what is the CP value, specific heat of this for this temperature. What is the specific heat of water for this particular temperature. Now we are going to find out QH plus QC divided by 2. This will give you the Q, number of, Q is a watts, that is heat transfer rate. Next you have a LMTD, logarithmic mean temperature difference. This is the Ti minus delta Ti minus delta T naught, ln of delta Ti divided by delta T naught. This will give the logarithmic mean temperature difference. What is the average out temperature difference between cold water and hot water? So what is delta Ti? THI minus TCI for parallel flow. Delta TI, THI minus TCO for counter flow. Depending on parallel or counter flow, you are going to opt this formula. That is TI is the hot water inlet minus cold. What is THI means? Temperature at hot water inlet. TCI means temperature at cold water inlet. So what is this? THI means hot water inlet temperature. TC naught means cold water outlet temperature. So this is a description. Similarly apply to this formula. Similarly T naught is also, you have formula now, and all the suffix are indicated over here. You can apply and calculate and find out what is the temperature. And also you have overall heat transfer coefficient, that is U, that is Q divided by A into TLMTD. So you have Q already found out. A surface area of the pipe, that is pi dl into pi d into L. The circumference into its overall length will give you the surface area. And you have a outer diameter of the pipe. It's 0.02 meter, and length you have 1 meter, and delta T already you have found out. So apply this, find out Q divided by A into delta T. This is very important. Surface area of the pipe it's mentioned in the specification. You can just refer this surface area you're going to supposed to find out in meter square. It will come. Next, effectiveness. Fourth one, what you are supposed to find is the objective of this experiment is effectiveness of heat exchanger, that is epsilon. What is effectiveness? What does the effectiveness mean? It's a ratio of number of units heat transferred to the maximum possible heat transfer units. That is, it shows the effectiveness, it shows the efficiency of the heat exchanger. What can be the maximum possible heat exchanger, but through this heat exchanger, what is the amount of heat is taken out from this heat exchanger. That shows the effectiveness of heat exchanger. It will be always less than 1. You have Tc naught minus Tci divided by Thi minus Tci. If Cmax is greater than C minimum, or Cmax, if Cmax is smaller than C minimum, you have one more formula, you have to use this. Similarly, you have a different formula for theoretical approach. You have two, experimental and theoretical. Here also 1 minus epsilon theoretical is equal to 1 minus e power minus NTU power 1 plus C divided by 1 plus C. For parallel flow and counter flow, you have different heat exchangers. This formulas you can also see from the data handbook. What is C max and C minimum? Based on this criteria, you are going to use this. This C max is mH into CPH. C minimum means MC into CPC. If you, whatever the values you are going to get, compare this. If it is maximum or minimum, based on this lesser or greater symbol, you can opt this formula and find out the effectiveness experimental way. And similarly, for parallel and counter flow, here you don't have any combination, just you have directly can for parallel you can take this formula, for counter you can take this formula. C is equal to C minimum divided by C maximum. NTU is number of transfer units is given by the formula U into A by Cm. Cm is the minimum of C minimum and C maximum. That NTU you can substitute over in this formula here, NTU, and C is ratio of C maximum by C minimum by C maximum, and percentage error is the E, that is epsilon theoretical minus epsilon experimental divided by epsilon theoretical into 100. This gives the what is the percentage error between experimental and theoretical.